English football's roller coaster. It was Forest on the up last season.
Nottingham Forest back up to the Championship.
That's amazing. I didn't think we was going to get out of that league.
Incredible. Absolutely amazing.
Pinch me, has it really happened?
Probably the best emotion I've felt since Cologne.
While Reading dropped to division.
Reading are down.
We weren't such a bad team last time round.
Safely Coppell's hands.
Getting back up's the key.
Getting up is more fun than staying there and finishing 16th.
Both sides will be looking for a smooth ride this time as they start their climb to the Premier League.
What a wonderful goal!
We're at the City Ground where Nottingham Forest haven't lost an opening fixture for 25 years. They're up against relegated Reading. We're live on Sky Sports 2, and don't forget you can see us in high definition as well. That's HD2 channel 409. Well, Forest reportedly the biggest spenders in the Championship. £2.65 million has gone on this man, Rob Earnshaw, who's been back in the goals in pre-season. Big things expected as well of a muscular midfielder, Guy Moussi, who signed from Angers. Well, Reading have lost key players in Kitson and Shorey, but the core remain: Stephen Hunt, James Harper, who's been linked with Middlesbrough consistently, and Kevin Doyle, all part of their promotion-winning team 3 seasons ago. Well, turn the clock back 12 months and Reading were kicking off their second season in the Premier League with a goalless draw at Old Trafford of all places, while Forest were kicking off here with a goalless draw against Bournemouth in League One. How times change. For both now, it's all about the Championship. Forest runners-up to Swansea City by 10 points last season. I'm delighted to say that Swansea's manager Roberto Martinez is here, and Roberto's side take on Forest next Saturday in South Wales. Welcome along, Roberto. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Doncaster, the other side, of course, have got promoted. Off to a great start with a win at Derby yesterday. A tougher start for you, shall we say, at Charlton?
Well, it was, but after 24 years as a football club, we went into the new level, and it was a big day for us. The support was there, 3,300 fans, and a little bit is the taste of things to come. But on the pitch, the performance, we can take a lot of things out of it, a lot of positive, and we can work on. 2
set pieces, one very early, and I guess that would disappoint you, and a sending off as well of Gary Monk, your captain.
Yes, well, you can see that's the second challenge. But overall, the game, we had to play a very difficult role, if you want. We conceded in the first set piece that we had to defend, a misjudgment from our side, and then the sending off. After that, we tried to go and get the equaliser, and we got punished in another set piece, which is something that we need to work on, and we're well aware. But probably being the first day didn't help their cause. But overall, we were ourselves, that was my main worry, if you want, that we could go to Charlton in a difficult place like the Valley and be ourselves. And we were ourselves, and I think we showed enough what we can do this season.
Was it a more physical challenge in the Championship? Is that what Nottingham Forest are going to find here today?
Not really, no. No, I think League One is a very... People don't understand the League One and League Two football. They are very, very physical. Obviously, what you get is the higher you go, is you got better players, and you got no margin of error. You really get punished. But overall, the physicality of the game is in the British game, and there's not a big difference between the Championship and League One.
You played your way out of League One last year and won a lot of plaudits in the process as well. I know Alan Pardew was impressed yesterday. Is that how you think you can progress through the Championship as well, by playing your football?
Well, that's the way we are. I think we haven't got the players to do it any other way. That's our strength. I think the football club, if you look at throughout our history, the fans enjoy that type of football, and that's what we're going to do. What we need to make sure is that we are competitive at this level, doing what we do best, and that's playing football.
Well, big history here, of course. Big expectation too. 2 European Cups, 2 English titles as well. The question is, can Forest get back to the big time now? Well, Colin Calderwood is certainly relishing the challenge.
We're looking forward to it. Any start of the season is exciting. A new league obviously adds to it. And the prize at the end of this league is something that whets the appetite for everybody. We want it to be a stepping stone, as all clubs really intend to do, is to get into the Premiership. If this is the sum of our ambition, then we're in the wrong club, definitely, and we're in the wrong job, because we want to go to the next stage. There's a huge world of football beyond the Championship, but we've got to prove ourselves and be worthy of contesting a promotion spot at the end of the season. everyone's target in the league will be to get promoted. I don't see why we should be any different. We've got nothing to be scared of, and we don't want to limit ourselves by saying we'll take a breather for a year, try and consolidate, and then move forward after that. Football invariably doesn't work like that. You don't have that length of time. You know, we've got to look as if we're progressive and ambitious, enthusiastic enough and capable of doing the job. And as we start the season, I don't think there's a league in Europe that'll have a greater number of teams believing that they might have a chance of success.
Very different story, isn't it? The Nottingham Forest story and the Swansea City story. There you are, back in the second tier for the first time in 24 years. And here in Nottingham Forest, Robin Hood country as well. They're jumping off the stands here, by the way. Have this huge weight of history on their shoulders as well. European Cup winners, but dropped to the third tier of English football. He's delivering the match ball. There you go, Robin Hood arriving in style here at the City Ground this afternoon. Can that history become a problem for you, Roberto?
Well, it depends. Sometimes in League One it can be, because every team will come here at the City Ground to be defensive, to be aware what they're going to play against. And I think everyone at Forest, they were looking forward to be in the Championship level, where they'll be able to play teams face to face. They'll have opposition that they come in here believing that they can win the football game, and not to feel that they need to be extra precautious or extra negative to play against Forest, and that made it very difficult over the last 3 seasons.
Colin Calderwood saying there in his interview that so many teams are in there fighting. Would you count yourselves and Forest and Doncaster among the 3 possible contenders?
Well, I think you need a magic ball to try to describe. In the Championship level, it's so tight. It's no big differences, and on the day anyone can beat anyone. So in that respect, is whoever adapts quicker into this level and start getting a little run together, will have a massive advantage if you want. But obviously, you're looking at certain teams that they come down from the Premiership with a huge difference. As you know, in football, when you come from the Premiership, that gives you a little bit of a leeway, and the rest, everyone come a little bit on the day, beat each other.
Well, Reading back at this level for the first time in 2 years. Let's hear from their manager, Steve Coppell, with Greg Whelan.
Steve, you're up against a newly promoted side who've spent a lot of money this summer. How tricky an opening fixture do you feel this could be?
Oh, very tricky. Team promoted, as you say, used to winning at home. Added to the squad in the summer. You know, they're going to be a club with ambition to be at the top end of the table rather than at the bottom end.
8 of your starting lineup today helped you win promotion 3 years ago. To what extent do you feel the drive, the ambition is still there in this side?
Well, I think when you're being relegated, then automatically it's in every professional's nature to want to put things right, and you know, it's very much the feel of our dressing room at the moment. You know, we just came down on goal difference, but we very much feel now our route back is by performing over the next 9 months, and that starts with today.
You lost 2 key players over the summer. There's continued speculation about your captain, James Harper. How difficult has that been to prepare for this campaign?
Well, it has been uncomfortable at times. You know, there is a feeling that the bigger fish you are, the more you eat the smaller fish. And, you know, we've been a prey, I think, for a few bids from various clubs. I've tried to be fair with the players. But now, once we start kicking a ball, you know, I would hope it would be different. And any clubs who are still hovering around would respect us and leave us alone.
Steve, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, Roberto, they have lost 2 key players in Kitson and Shorey, but they've got 8 involved today, here involved in the promotion campaign 3 seasons ago. That's just incredible, isn't it?
It's huge. I think to have that core group of players is more important than the ones, individualities that you can lose, that maybe they haven't got their head in what's needed this season. But overall, when you got someone like Steve Coppell, which is the stability, and is someone special at Reading Football Club, it gives you, well, allows you to put all the ingredients together to be another successful team this season.
Would you expect, though, Reading, on paper, looking at their side, to have greater quality than most in this division?
Well, what they've got is that experience to know how. You play in the Premiership as a player, you learn a lot, and then you've been successful at this level before, so you can't buy that in football. That's a huge advantage. And then, as I say, Reading Football Club, they will definitely be a strong force.
So the quality of Reading, could that be balanced out, though, Roberto, by the passion and excitement of Forest being back at this level today?
Without a doubt, because you look at it already, you can see a little bit, sense that respect between each other, and in a way, Nottingham Forest, they found a successful formula last season, and now adding on, they spend a lot of money in the summer, so obviously they're looking forward to be a competitive force in this campaign. So both teams, I think that we're going to see a very level game, and probably will go down to that quality, the individual quality that in certain moments can win you a game.
Well, they can't wait, and neither can we. Let's hear from our commentary team this afternoon for the first time, Peter Beagrie and Bill Leslie.
All the supporters of both these clubs, 24 hours of watching and waiting while the others in the Football League opened hostilities yesterday. Well, the wait nearly over for them now, and so too for the two lineups. Let's have a check on those now for you. Plenty of comings and goings through the doors here at the City Ground, but an injury drinks has struck in the striking department. Andy Cole, Joe Garner from Carlisle, and Paul Anderson on loan from Liverpool, all unavailable attackers. Nathan Tyson out as well, so the weight of goal-scoring responsibility falls on the shoulders of Rob Earnshaw, the biggest piece of Championship business this summer at 2.65 million. Another new signing it's hard to miss in midfield, the big Frenchman Guy Moussi. So a mix of the new and the young. All but two of this side are under 25, all of them under 30. Reading without injured Michael Dubry, the recently departed Nicky Shorey, and the Olympian Andre Beaky. So Ibrahima Sonko, sent to Coventry at the end of last season, is called upon here in Nottingham. Stephen Hunt fills in a somewhat unfamiliar left-back role, and in the heart of midfield, Czech international Marek Matejowski is over a thigh injury. He partners James Harper. Not too much upheaval in the summer then. 7 of this starting lineup played in the final day win against Derby last season. 7 also played in the last game they played in the Championship 3 years ago. A look at the benches sees plenty of youth on there. Ian Brecken at 33, the oldest on the Forest bench. All the others former trainees, and at least 12 years his junior. Keep an eye out on the on the Reading bench, I should say, for Alex Pearce and Julian Kelly, both highly thought of teenagers. The shadow of the great man still hangs over this great club, the legacy of European Championships, although they are now decades ago, hard to forget. And their achievements over 10 months last season has earned them a crap back in the top 2 divisions. Up they came just as Reading came down, took it to the last day, but in the end fell short. They've kept the core of their squad together though. The core of the squad who had what it took to barnstorm their way through the Championship when they were runaway champions in their last season at this level. And a steely look of determination on their captain, James Harper. All the talking, all the training, all the preparation, you can do that all right. So that's all about to stop and the real action to start, to see what sort of response the two managers get from their players. Forest with their first promotion in a decade, Reading their first relegation in the same time, and they come together here on the opening weekend at the City Ground. All the action is next.
Concluding the opening weekend of the Coca-Cola Championship, it's Nottingham Forest against Reading from the City Ground on Sky Sports 2. And don't forget, also in high definition on HD2, that's channel 409. Let's have a look how they match up. 22 meetings, Forest slightly on top, 10 wins to Reading's 8. Their first meeting actually 105 years ago in the FA Cup, which Forest won 6-3. And here at the City Ground, that is the score as well. Forest have dominated this fixture, but recently Reading have won 4 of the last 5, and they start today as slight favourites. Let's hear from Peter Beagrie and Bill Leslie.
We've already had a chance to mention some of the new names in the starting lineups for both clubs, but you might just be hearing a fair bit about this young man over the next 10 months or so, Stuart Atwell. He's only 25 years old. As of next weekend, he will become the youngest ever Premier League referee. And a fine atmosphere here for him to officiate in front of. A fine pitch, a fine day. The scene is set perfectly, Peter Beagrie.
Yeah, absolutely. Full of trepidation he'll be, the referee, and let's hope he doesn't have any major incidents to deal with. But it's nice to see a youthful smile on his face there, and looking forward to it as much as the players from the two teams involved.
Well, last year, Forest were travelling to the likes of Bournemouth and Walsall in their quest for promotion. 3 long seasons outside the top 2 divisions of English football. Reading, on their radar they had Old Trafford, where of course they were on the opening weekend 12 months ago and got a goalless draw. Stamford Bridge as well. Well, this season, these 2 clubs who have their final tinkerings in a huddle keep the same Championship company. As a player, Colin Calderwood spent most of his career in the top 2 divisions. This is the first taste of Championship action for him as a manager, up against the wily old campaigner, Steve Coppell. Win, lose or draw, he keeps that calm exterior. Well, similarities for Reading in some ways to 12 months ago. They kick off their season at the home of 2-time European champions. Manchester United since adding a 3rd European crown, of course. Forest hoping that this is the beginning of the next step for them to get back to where they once belonged.
So important for Forest, you know, to have a good start. Really calm.
Earnshaw doing his best to try and give them that. He's always lively. He's waiting in the middle. Earnshaw frantically back was Hunt to block away. And they had dreams of a perfect start there, Nottingham Forest. Not over yet as Chambers fires it back in, away by Harper.
It's a great example there of seeing the difference in the shapes. Earnshaw up front on his own, with the 2 ex-Yeovil flying machines going on one side there. And Aaron Davis on the other, supplementing the attack, getting forward. 3 players, the 3-pronged attack involved there.
Here is Aaron Davis, start of his season last year, very much disrupted by injury, but now an opportunity for Reading to break. Here's Jimmy Cabey, and that is a perfectly strong challenge, a statement of intent from Julian Bennett, last season's Player of the Year. Thumping first minute, more of the same, please. Well, Earnshaw, for all his qualities, isn't likely to get much change in an aerial battle with Ibrahim Sonko.
Well, that's right. That's why they've got to be quick and incisive with the passing. They've got to go get the ball out wide in the wide areas, and the quality of the delivery is imperative. But what he does offer you, Bill, is a genuine threat over the top. His anticipation is terrific, and he's looking to a big season this year after a couple of poor ones.
Chambers, Guy Moussi, already with his pre-season performances becoming a little bit of a folk hero here at the City Ground. Certainly a giant presence in that Nottingham Forest engine room.
Just on Moussi there, I was speaking to a couple of lads who were absolute faces like a fiddle, sat on the bench before the game. Young Paul Anderson and Joe Garno not involved today because of injuries, and they were speaking very highly of this guy in the middle of the park. An athlete, but he can play as well.
Chambers wants it played in early because he reckons he has the beating of Stephen Hunt in the air. Drilled in low, Chambers was closest to it, couldn't get quite close enough.
Yeah, when you look at the 2 wide men in Cohen and Davis, who only supplied 3 goals last year between them, but the 2 fullbacks, Bennett got 4 and Chambers got 8. That just shows you this Forest side are not afraid to push forward from the back when they've got decent possession.
Knows all about Luke Chambers, Colin Calderwood, brought him from Northampton. Here he is again on the ball, who enjoyed his best ever scoring season last year, Luke Chambers. A turn provider here for Earnshaw. Sonko. Doyle. McGugan in strongly, the teenager who's attracted so much attention with his performances last year, the American convict. Loose ball collected by Rossignol, Jimmy Cabey. Now Perch. Over the top for Earnshaw. That's the sort of ball he'll want to collect ahead of Sonko. The big man bites in.
That is an absolute mismatch there, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. But Earnshaw wasn't going to give up. He was biting at his ankles.
Took him down in the end, didn't he? Ibrahim Sonko, along with MS Faye, found himself in the wilderness because of his refusal to play in a reserve team match, you might remember, at the end of last season. But with the departure of Andre Biquet helping out in the Olympics, and the injury picked up by Michael Dubry in training this week, his services are called on again in the first team.
Yeah, strange game football. Opportunities arise and you've got to grasp them. If he's not moving on, or if he wants to move on, he's got to put in decent performances.
Steve Coppell will tell you that that incident is all dealt with now, water under the bridge. MS Faye, though, departing the club, Sonko staying. Always interesting to see what sort of hangover there is from a Premier League relegation. All three relegated last season, of course, to the Championship, failed to bounce back at the first time of asking. Watford, Charlton and Sheffield United.
I think Steve knows he's got an honest bunch here. Real honest bunch of players who served him well in the Premiership up until last season. He had a great first year.
Leroy Lita. He's taken a deflection into the safe hands of Paul Smith. No one kept more clean sheets in League One than he did. You look at Nottingham Forest's success last season, and it came despite the start they made. They'll be determined not to have as bad a beginning to the season as they had 12 months ago. Failed to score in their first 3 games in all competitions, winless in their first 6. It wasn't until mid-September that they won their first game. Seem to remember they had a fair few injuries to strikers as well last season, so history repeating itself in that respect.
Absolutely. Fancy dipping in the transfer market the way he has, Mr. Calderwood, and strengthened, and without the services of Garner and Cole and the likes, and Anderson as well, who's season-long known from Liverpool. Big things expected of these guys.
Big things expected of Leroy Lita here. Nearly got lucky with the bounce off his heel, but back came Bennett.
Another player, we said about Sonko, but another player with a point to prove. You know, he felt himself, he was out, he was in the shadows of the likes of Doyle and Hunt and people like that. Shane Long was ahead of him as well, but Leroy Lita, he lives to score goals. We saw that at Charlton. His frustration, didn't score on the first 3, and then ended up with, I think, 3 and 8.
So fresh memories of goal scoring at this level. Rosinha to put a little bit of pressure on.
We look at the goals that Forest need. We all know they can pass the ball and they can play and they have nice fluid movement, but they need goals, and a go with 13 goals last year, and Chris Commons as well weighed in with 10. Them 2 players have gone 23 goals to replace. And not only that, Common was the playmaker. He was the one who dragged people out of position and threaded balls through. It's going to be interesting to see how they cope without them quality players.
No doubt about it. They have lent heavily on their youth production line. 4 of their substitutes, former trainees, and several of them out there in the starting lineup. And even those who didn't come through the system here, they do have a lot of local-born lads. Look at Wes Morgan, Kelvin Wilson in there, Lewis McGugan, James Perch, all born within a few miles of Nottingham city centre.
Certain Mr. Cole as well. He's at the other end of the spectrum age-wise, but yeah, coming back to his roots, and I'm sure that was thought of when he was deciding where he was going to move, because there was a lot of clubs still interested in him.
Burnley keen to hold on to him, weren't they, after they enjoyed his services towards the end of last year. The lure of home, strong for Cole, who was hoping to be able to play some part today. Looked likely he might have a substitute's role, but still suffering with injury that he picked up in pre-season.
It's nice to see Forest using the options there. You know, they're passing it and they're keeping it short, and then all of a sudden, in behind for Earnshaw, keeping the 2 centre-halves from Reading on the toes. They can't afford to get ball watching and have a look, see what everybody else is doing. Got to keep an eye on him.
Wes Morgan stood strong against Doyle. Moussi. Spent most of the last 6 years at the French club Angers. He spent most of that time in the second tier of French football. David Friot, remember him? Spent a long time at Plymouth, also had a spell here. He's the French scout for Nottingham Forest and recommended him to Colin Calderwood, Guy Moussi. Here's Rob Earnshaw, whose track record speaks for itself. Shoot on sight policy.
Yeah, worked that little space for himself. Great turn of pace as Rob, low centre of gravity. He's got no alternative. He's only 5'2", but you know, in and around the feet of the two big centre halves, of course, some real damage to do if you can get it in there.
Big build-up by Reading. Rossignol. Convey. Hunt. It was an awkward one to deal with, and in the end, well defending by Nottingham Forest.
Tremendous pace, whip on the ball from Hunt there as it was rolled back. Didn't waste any time, wasn't it, in the box? And Leiter was brave because there was boots flying there. You see Convey laying it back, drives that ball in, little bit of bend on it, tremendous clear in the end. I mean, they had him fronted, they did very well. They had one in front and one behind.
Reading with their first corner of the afternoon, and Hunt, who was the provider of that cross, will provide from the flag kick. Sonko and Ingemarson up from the back. Doyle in the mix as well. Important glance away by Kelvin Wilson. Well, he was late there, and he knew it, Chris Cohen.
Just beaten by a little bit of skill, just gets a final touch there. I'll call this guy Marek. I'm not going to even try and pronounce his second name. I'll leave that one to you.
First name terms, Marek Matejowski, who was busy in the summer with the Czech Republic at the European Championships. In by Harper. One element of last season that Nottingham Forest will be looking to continue is their home defence. Far and away the best in League One last season. They only conceded 13 goals all season, only lost 2 games here of the 23 they played in the league. Mightily impressive, and if they can replicate that in anything like it over the months to come, then they'll stand in good stead of achieving something in their return to the Championship.
I think they'll need to, but I hope they don't think the Sky Cameras are a bit of a jinx, because the last defeat was the televised one, Carlisle, that I did here. So terrific game of football at Carlisle, slender winners by a 1-goal margin. And that was only 1 or 2 defeats, as you rightly say.
Moussi. Perch. Pass and move again from Nottingham Forest, closed down by Reading and Ingemarson. Harper. Doyle.
Colin Calderwood would be ecstatic the way that they've settled in the passing the ball, plenty of confidence, keeping it short, and then the little variations we said before, with the running behind really quickly.
Earnshaw has earned himself the right to have a run at the Reading defence. Support to his right from Cohen. We call it a striker's instinct, not to look up and see what was around him.
I think by the time he'd got it out with his feet, the option was closed down there. You know, it just got stuck under. The grass is quite short, but it's a bit sticky. There's no moisture on there at all, and the ball's not really running freely, so it's not one to be running with.
Keevick denied by the cover from Bennett, who helped out Wes Morgan there, no doubt about that. Davis. Reading back off. Bennett looking for Earnshaw, only finding Sonko.
Later, slightly later he was there. A good position here for Forest. We've got some people who can deliver decent balls into the box. We had a look in that last attack there when the left back went down, Bennett, and looked to drift the ball in, and we saw McGugan break from the centre of midfield, and he wasn't picked up. baller with a bit better quality there, he was in. Reading have got to be aware of that.
Morgan into the box to provide a target along with Musi. The flag up. Reading worked that and played that pretty well. And now they spring on the attack. Bobby Convey. Hunt on the overlap to his left. Looking for Doyle. Now it's Forest's turn to look for the quick break. One back by Matejowski. He can score from distance, just asked Liverpool about that. Scored at Anfield last season. Keeby, low cross, away for a Reading corner.
A lot of pace in this Reading side. We see when Forest sacrifice possession, Reading pounce onto it and there's bodies flooding forward. And there's the beauty of having a forward at left back. Hunt wasting no time getting down that left-hand side. We look at the possession there as well. Forest, who we said have kept the ball better. You know, they've passed it shorter, had little movement, options on the ball, but Reading are a threat, and they've forced more corners in that final third.
Hunt to take again. On by Kebe. Convey. Smuggled it through for Doyle. Ingemarson. Kebe! Oh. Wonderful save from Smith. He was offside anyway, but Smith didn't know it.
He was offside, but as a defender, you clear the danger. You don't stand there with your hand up, hoping for it. We look at the ball comes in here. It's a decent ball from Ingemarson. He's offside. Defender with his hand up in the air, which stops him getting the elevation. Head it clear and then complain. It's a good strike, diverted goalward, but Smith was there.
Earnshaw. Hunt just paused for a critical second. Earnshaw.
It was nearly a great ball. He only had one option.
Convey's launched a very awkward one for Hanneman to deal with. It's actually turned out nicely because there's a little bit of space for Keeby down the right for Reading.
Well, I've been playing CC out there, haven't I? So Keeby, he's looking to make that place his own. Of course, they've lost Little and John Oster as well. They were the two players that provided that width down the right-hand side.
It's that awkward period of August, isn't it? The season is underway, pre-season planning is over, the action has started, but you're still subject to swoops from clubs who are looking to pack their squads before the window closes at the end of August. Reading and Steve Coppell well aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'd be happy with the way his squad is at the moment. You know, he'd probably look to bring a couple more in as opposed to letting anybody go. But you know, you forget that without Murty as well, there's still a couple of players missing who were injured.
Brynjar Gunnarsson, another one who was in that championship winning side. As if to illustrate that, the departure of Nicky Shorey this week to Aston Villa. Here's Doyle. Keeby matched his run to provide support.
Yeah, the ball's just not, you've got to really pass it firmly. It's just not on the pitch. It's a bit dry, it's a bit sticky. Total contrast to yesterday's downpour.
Hunt, who has been joined at the Medeski Stadium by his brother Noel, came south from Dundee United, but a little bit short of match fitness because of an injury in pre-season, so Reading supporters will need to wait a little while to get a glimpse of him.
Yeah, proven goal scorer, 18 goals last season. Dundee United, a decent investment at 600,000.
It's not unprecedented, but it is highly unusual that a side goes up to the Premier League, survives in the Premier League, comes down from the Premier League and still has the majority, 75% of their squad at least, intact from the initial promotion.
Well, I think that's got a lot to do with the manager as well. Steve Coppell, well respected in the game. And obviously his man management skills are there for all to see, keeping players happy. Everybody has ideas of grandeur and the grass is always greener, but sometimes not so.
Doyle looking for Lita. Rasinha.
Decent strike, did well to keep it down, and the keeper had to make that one stick. Because Lita was there ready to pounce. Predatory striker, there he is. Always in and around that 6-yard box.
Combi. Sonko. Perch. Julian Bennett. As he has the beating of Kibe.
Well, we've seen both Forest full-backs involved in the attack, and Rossini with a shot, Hunt with a cross. Both sides throwing bodies forward, showing a bit of ambition.
Leroy Lita. Penalised. Talking about the way that Steve Coppell has built the squad, this man is a perfect example. Kevin Doyle, £80,000 from Cork.
Absolute bargain. Yeah, great refreshing attitude towards the game. He'll run the channels, and he's a workhorse. He really is. A decent rebound surface as well. Very, very strong, and a great investment. 6 goals in 36 games last year in the Premiership.
You look back over the seasons that he's been at the club, £80,000. He's got about 40 goals, 38 in total, in fact, and around £2,000 a goal. You don't get many players like that at the top 2 divisions.
No, you don't, and it's nice to see players who are young and hungry, and their attitude and application, and that's paramount, and that's going to be what it's all about for Reading this year, because you can't feel sorry for yourself. Last year's forgotten, and this division, as we saw with the teams that come down last year, can punish you.
You only need to go along the A52 to Derby to see that. This is an excellent run from Jimmy Kebe. Doyle looks to continue the momentum. Big Wes Morgan carries clear for Nottingham Forest. Cohen. Support from Chambers. Decides not to use it and opens it up for himself. Now Musi. Oh. Goodness me, he hit that. Oh. Down goes Sonko. Well, he'll need a count there because that was rifled into his head. They play on Earnshaw offside. You could feel that one from up here.
Yeah, he rocked. There was sort of a delay on it. It's like a heavyweight punch catching you on the chin. There was a little bit of a delay, and he wobbled and he went down in stages. Yeah, must have felt that, because it was a tremendous strike from Musi, who's not renowned for his goals. I think 3 goals in 95 games in France, but we see that there. Dear me.
The legs have gone.
Absolutely, but we saw the game there encapsulated in the space of 30-40 seconds. Great tackle from Wes Morgan. Kebe went through. Great tackle from him. Sprayed it out wide, and Cohen made inroads before passing on to Musi, who hit that strike that was his pull at the centre half.
Well, a time to catch breath and try and get his bearings for big Ibrahima Sonko, and a time to reflect on what has been, although we haven't had any goals, a thoroughly lively first half of this first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams, refreshing attitude, throwing bodies forward, and that was, as we've said before, it was that last passage of play, 40 seconds of it, end to end.
Morgan's header, on by Perch, a high boot from Marek Matajowski.
It's a poor challenge, that. Boot really high, he was never going to get the ball was the other side of the plate, and he caught the full force of his studs there. Any hint of a pen, Bill, for you? With Morgan's challenge, he had to get it spot on, didn't he? Had to get it spot on. It was a great run, driving down there, coming in. Kebe there with from the right-hand side, a tremendous tackle.
Ingemarson. Davis. Bennett, now Perch. Musi. Chambers. Knocking it around neatly again, Nottingham Forest. Cohen has got in behind Matejowski, and the Czech has brought him down. It's a situation that smacks of promise for the home side. 19-year-old Lewis McGugan stands over it. The cast assemble in and around the penalty spot. In by Cohen, too close for Hanneman. Promised a lot, delivered little. Harper. Kibe, the French-born Mali international. Teammate of the former Spurs man, quite Sevilla striker Freddie Canute internationally. Lita.
Poor position for Leroy there, just needed to hold it. Not do it first time, get hold of it. You're inside the box, no one can touch you there. Bring other people into the game.
Bounced off Bennett. Poole under pressure. Picking up this season where he left off last. Sonko still looks a little stunned by that blow to the head he got moments ago. Certainly caught out there. McGugan. Musi. Away from Earnshaw, but it's found its way to Davis. Set up for Perch.
Well worth the hit. Lovely bit of football there. Nice and patient again. Step over from Davis, and then he's laid it back into the path of Perch. Just needs to get his knee over the ball a bit more, but certainly worth the hit.
Busy first week to the season for all the Football League clubs, and the Carling Cup is back. Tuesday night you can see live Chester, who had 6 put past them yesterday by Dagenham and Redbridge against Leeds United. That's Tuesday, 7:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2, and Wickham against Birmingham. That's Wednesday, 7 o'clock, same channel, Sky Sports 2, and in high definition. McGugan looking to release Earnshaw. Sonko. Spotted a foul in there on Perch by Harper, I think. Must be slightly unsettling to have so much conjecture about your future going on. Middlesbrough strongly linked. There was talk that Bolton have inquired as well. Will he still be the Reading captain come September the 1st?
Well, the fact that he's given the captaincy and the way that he was speaking in his interview, it looks like he's trying to avoid selling him.
Musi. Earnshaw, space to shoot. Oh, wasn't far wide.
It's a tremendous effort. Tremendous effort.
One of the real features of the game is that neither goalkeeper hanging about, the ball back in play almost as soon as it goes out. It's helped contribute to a wonderful tempo in this first half an hour.
Yeah, I think it helps when he looks up and sees the full-backs on shore today. They're all well equipped to get the ball to feet and build from the back and start off and be the first point of attack.
McGugan seems to be able to pop up everywhere on the pitch, finds Bennett. Corner kick for Forest, it's their first from that side.
Plenty of belief from this Forest side, plenty of belief. Little tricks coming out, good movement. We said before, options on the ball, it's imperative.
Big crowd here at the City Ground, can sense something might happen. Hanneman just got enough on it.
Great ball, driven in, plenty of pace. That's what they need to do. He's that little nice bit of play by Moosey there, step over, lays it to Earnshaw. He sees he can't get any height on it. He tries to use the player as a screen for the goalkeeper, and as Hanneman scrambling and just goes past that post. Clever thinking there by Earnshaw.
Look down at the pitch from the big American, but can't see that there are too many divots on this perfect looking playing surface anyway.
Absolutely not.
Might get away with that on the last day of the season. Hoisted by Chambers. No one in red in any position to contest it. Lita gives chase. Well, there's quite some run they went on towards the end of last season. Nottingham Forest at one stage towards the closing weeks of the season looked like they might even miss out on the playoffs, but 6 wins in their last 7 games, and on the final day, courtesy of others stuttering, they were able to gain automatic promotion and spare themselves the agony of the playoffs.
Yeah, and it gives your manager, you know, more time to plan, extra weeks there. I think we're looking at Forest. There was probably 2 or 3 better footballing sides, but they were strong. And as you've said there, they're coming to form at the right moment and held the form.
10 points they ended up behind the champions, Roberto Martinez's Swansea. And of course, they face next Saturday at the Liberty Stadium.
And Rob saving on expenses, 2 for 1, scouting job.
We'll hear his views at half-time. Our guest here at the City Ground this afternoon, the Swansea manager.
Yeah, he's always got a smile on his face. He did a fantastic job, he did. And plays football in the right manner. And if you're going to go up through the divisions, you've got to play football. You know, lumping the ball will only get you a certain way.
You talk about the end to last season that Forest had. You look at Reading's as well. They look like they've done enough to be safe, but just capitulated. A 4-0 win at Derby on the final day, too little, too late. They found themselves pipped and heading back from where they'd come 2 years previously.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I think it speaks volumes for Steve Coppell, you know, to get his side ready with the vast majority of them still here who were involved in that. Great student of the game, but people would say master now, not a student. Commands tremendous respect right throughout the world of football, not just in through the Premiership and the leagues here.
Also, they give you a look at what's happened in the Championship in the 2 years since Reading have departed it. You just look at how closely contested it's been, issues going right to the final day at the top, no side running away with it, and you forget that Reading only lost 2 games in the whole Championship season. Over 100 points they amassed.
Yeah, 106 points record. It was absolutely incredible. I think that was after, was it losing the first game?
Yeah, they lost their first game at home to Plymouth.
And then went another 33 or something unbeaten. Fantastic, they were absolutely tremendous. And they were the embodiment of the word team.
They certainly did it the right way, which is what Doyle looks to do here. Keeby had come in off the right. Lita had taken up a position wide, and he's furious, Leroy Lita, with his strike partner.
Yeah, it's all about decision making, and that was the wrong one. Picked the wrong option. Great run, Keeby there, and he took the 2 centre-halves inside. Lita went outside and should have slipped him.
Comby, away by Chambers. Just won't give up the fight, Lewis McGugan. Davis carries it out of play.
Yeah, great athlete, great enthusiasm and that, and he joins in, he gets past the strikers. Good goal scoring season last season.
Chambers. Musi has good feet to take him away from Combi.
Yeah, he looks a good acquisition, doesn't he? We said about his athleticism, but he's involved in the build-up. Doesn't shy away from the responsibility of getting the ball and switching the play.
And he'll be very disappointed with himself now, Luke Chambers, as Forest look to build up a little head of steam. Lita. Only 2 goals for Reading last season, and the one he got on the final day was his first for 15 months in the blue and white. Chambers against Combi, just a goal kick.
Good tempo to the game. We might have a look and see it second half, especially with this sun coming down now. The game will open up a bit more. All the energy that they've expended this first half. It's also the nervous energy as well, the anticipation of the season starting does have a bearing.
Slightly more traditional weekend one weather today, isn't it, than we had at the City Ground yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. It used to be the first day of pre-season and the first day of the season used to be red hot.
Musi. Perch. Chambers. Strong battle between Harper and Chambers. McGugan joins in. Inside the last 10 minutes of the first half. No goals, but entertainment and endeavour in full effect here at the home of Nottingham Forest. Earnshaw. Now Perch. Bennett. 4 red shirts wait inside the Reading box. Took a touch off Rossignol.
Yeah, nowhere to go, did the right thing, forced the corner. Let's see what Colin Calderwood's worked on the training ground now. Big Wes Morgan coming up. Lucky to be playing today because everybody thought Brecon would be the choice. Can he pop up with a goal?
Certainly provides a physical presence in their low trajectory, really awkward. And Earnshaw got the touch, but not the power he was looking for. Good break on here for Reading. Matajowski. Doyle and Keeby ahead of him. Just a little ponderous. Forest had men back aplenty.
Yeah, the three guys who got in advance of him there made the same run.
And that is why they're so pleased with this young man, Lewis McGugan, in this part of the world. Lovely touch of skill to open things up again. Plenty of reasons to be cheerful for the supporters of Forest after awkward times. Down they went under Gary Megson. He turned out not to be the man to take them back up to the Championship. First year under Colin Calderwood, so near but yet so far. That agonising defeat here against Yeovil in the playoff semi-final second leg after winning the first leg away 2-0. Looked like they'd done the hard work, and they did it the comparatively easy way last season.
Well, I think it was a bit of divine retribution when they got promoted last year and beat Yeovil 3-2 on the final day. The irony was there because you look at the finishes, 7th, 4th and then 2nd last year. Tremendous amount of faith put in by the owners of Nottingham Forest. Stuck with Colin Calderwood.
It's one of those clubs, isn't it? The big clubs who've dropped down out of the top 2 divisions. Leeds United in the same position. Everything that they do under that much more of a microscopic inspection than anybody else because of what has gone before, the proud histories.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Matajowski and Perch lock horns. The check is down.
Oh, that's a bad one as well. Yeah, he's just caught him there. If you have a look at it there, there's no intent at all. No intent, but it's a sore one. It's just by the side of the knee there.
We're only 6 minutes or so away from half-time, but it's given everyone a chance to take on a little bit of refreshment. Warm day here in the city of Nottingham.
Yeah, very important to rehydrate. Just get a few little bits of information on as well.
Both managers, you have to say, Peter, will have been pretty delighted with what they've seen. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, tremendous work ethic and that. So they both created chances, only half chances though, but a lot of endeavour. I think Nottingham Forest have passed the ball a bit better, but we've seen the pace of the Reading team on the attack, and but for a couple of little misjudgments and where to do it, then where to pass the final ball.
Oh, well, looked relatively innocuous. That's the signs that it might be altogether more serious for Marek Matojowski. The stretcher appearing.
It just looked like a little twist on the knee, Bill. Just as they went in and the clash there, his body weight was going one way. And if we have a look, really innocuous there. He stood there. It could actually be ankle ligaments, actually. It's gone pronated. Oh. See his right boot. It's what you don't want to see. The opening day, all that pre-season work, and let's hope it's not too serious. It'll need a little reshuffle for Reading.
Well, it looks like he'll play no further part. Perhaps there'll be a knock on the chairman's door from the manager requesting funds to strengthen. If it does turn out to be more serious, there is John Medeski, a couple of seats down from his manager, Steve Coppell. And of course, there was all the talk towards the start of the summer break that Steve Coppell might not still be manager at Reading come the start of this season. That was all put to bed relatively quickly. He decided he'd have another crack at getting them up.
Yeah, I think that was fan power, wasn't it? They pleaded with him. And it's nice after, you know, you've been associated with a relegation that the fans have got that belief that you are the man. And why not?
Well, it's not looking good for Matojowski. Khalifa Cisse, the big Frenchman, is stripped and ready for action on this near side.
Yeah, we just saw in that slow-mo. Initially, I thought it was a clash of knees, and he might have just went over, but we saw the right foot stand on the boot there of the opposition, and it's just ankle went from underneath him.
Well, you mentioned how the pitch was not playing particularly slickly because of the heat that we've got here at the City Ground, and of course very firm early on in the season. That won't have helped.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And we've seen that this game would have been far, far quicker if there had been a bit of moisture on the surface, because both sides do like to break quickly, pass the ball slickly.
Applauded off by both sets of supporters, the Czech international, and he's replaced by Khalifa Cisse.
Yeah, the big man, he can operate in the middle of midfield or play on the wide on the right. Kebe is holding that spot at the moment. But again, physical presence, a good driving force, and might allow James Harper to get forward a bit more.
Little add to the added time at the end of this first half. Hostilities resume after a welcome breather.
I wondered whether or not, because Stephen Hunt, not a recognised left back, if Aaron Davis would swap with Cohen, with him being the quicker, more an outer winger, and he's done that at the moment. He's operating on the right hand side against Hunt. I think both sets of players were happy with that break, weren't they? Unfortunately, it comes as a direct consequence as one of the Reading players getting injured, but you could see them taking the fluids on board.
Glanced on by Leroy Lita. Convey alive and cutting in. This is good work by the American. Excellent challenge by Perch. Got it just right and needed to, considering where it was positioned.
Fantastic tackle.
Perch. Chambers.
First time really we've seen Bobby Convey as well in this division. He could be a match winner. He's had interrupted seasons with injury, gets himself fit, he's got genuine pace, and there's a goal threat. That's the first time that we've seen him, because Chambers has been pushing him the other way.
Cohen. Bennett. Perch. Earnshaw. An injection of pace from the Welshman. Now Guy Moussi. Onto that left foot of his. Moussi shoots!
Good strike. Engineered the chance himself there. Threatens to strike with his right foot. Sells the dummy. Comes inside on his left. Drills a low shot. Comfortable in the end for Hanneman. Good skill to engineer that chance for himself.
£300,000 well spent by the look of things. Earnshaw. Lita. McGugan ahead of Cisse. 3 minutes of added time. Perch. Bennett. McGugan. Did well to keep that going, Lewis McGugan.
That was a circus act, that, wasn't it?
Cohen. Sonko clears only as far as Moussi. Perch. More good stuff here from Nottingham Forest. Aaron Davis. Unable to shepherd it out. Careless clearance from Ingemarson. Moussi. Julian Bennett. Lewis McGugan. And Guy Moussi. Perch had made a rare burst forward into the penalty area.
There's great energy in that trio of Forest midfield players. Doing the defensive duties. We've seen earlier Perch on the edge of his own box, helping out his centre-arse with a great saving tackle. And then we've seen him there as the threat, getting beyond the strikers as well. Very versatile player. I've played against him when he's played right back, he's played right wing back, centre midfield. I think he's had a spell up top as well.
On by Cohen.
Rob Earnshaw just questioning the linesman's eyesight there. Giving him a placard to read the letters on. So I think that was a Forest throw.
Out on by Aaron Davis. Earnshaw buzzes around Ivar Ingemarson, the big Icelandic international. Not a hatful of chances for the £2.65 million man yet. Slid one narrowly wide. We might get another one here, as in the dying seconds of added time in the first half. Nottingham Forest have a corner. No time to take it, though. So goalless it is at the City ground at half-time. No goals as yet for the big money signings for either side.
But a great reception at half-time from both sets of fans. They've seen plenty of endeavour in that first 45 minutes in pretty hot work as well today. Swansea City manager Roberto Martinez is on a scouting mission. We'll get his thoughts on the game in just a moment. No goals yet. Unfortunate injury to Marek Matejowski. The big talking points next. Premier League is back next weekend on Sky Sports, kicking off on Saturday with Arsenal West Brom from 12:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD1, and then a double-header on Sunday. The runners-up Chelsea take on Portsmouth at 1, Sky Sports 1 and HD1, and the champions Manchester United face Newcastle 3:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Here of the Championship, half-time between Nottingham Forest and Reading. Goalless so far. Swansea City's Roberto Martinez is here. His side play Forest next week in South Wales. Roberto, first 45 minutes back at this level for 3 years for Nottingham Forest. What will Colin Calderwood have made of it?
Well, I think he'll be delighted that the players adapted really well. They took the tempo of the game and they kept the ball really well. And obviously they're playing against a very tough opposition. You can see Reading, they had a very mature 45 minutes. They absorbed the pressure. They're quite happy to absorb that pressure. And then they trying to isolate the two centre-halves with experience of Lita and Doyle. So overall, we've seen two different sides, different ways to play football. Both teams with very good quality on the ball.
Two new boys for Nottingham Forest today, Rob Earnshaw and Guy Moussi. What have you made of the Frenchman's impact here?
Well, it's influential. I think Guy Moussi gets involved in everything that is happening for Forest. You can see there he comes inside to probably his weaker foot, but it's a good strike from outside the box, and he's done it 2 or 3 times. He's great composure on the ball. He dictates things. He allows people to play around him, and in that respect, it's been a very good first 45 in the British game.
And combines here well with Rob Earnshaw, who's been desperate for a goal, hasn't he?
And you can see that he had to come out a little bit of his normal space, but he finds a little bit of that shooting opportunity, if you want, and that's what he's got in his blood. He's a finisher, and he's a huge danger for Nottingham Forest.
Big price tag as well, £2.65 million. Mind you, not the first time that he's had a big price on his head. And he only got 2 goals all season at Derby last year. Does he just need one here, do you think, to get him going again?
Well, when you play in a different environment and different football club, the whole thing changes. I don't think you should probably look into a player because of the stats in one single club. I think the way he is as a player, he's a winner, he's a finisher, and he's very, very lively. And as you could see, he can create problems coming from nothing, and that's a great strength for a player.
Reading haven't created too many clear-cut chances so far. Perhaps their best opening came from one of the flanks, Jimmy Kebe, who bears a remarkable resemblance, doesn't he, to his Mali teammate Freddie Kanouté.
He does. He's such a stylish player. He looks that everything is so easy, but he gets on the ball, he goes past 2-3 players with ease, and you have to give, Wes Morgan is a good piece of defending there, a little bit.
He gets the ball, you sure about that?
Well, from that angle, it probably gets the man. When I saw it live, it looked that he got the man first, but then you have to give the referee was in a good position, and he decided that Wes Morgan was a good defensive move.
Real blow to Reading in that first half, losing their midfield player, Marek Matejowski, who has ligament damage. It's been confirmed to his right ankle. It looked nasty, didn't it, Rob?
As you can see it there, he just stamps on James Purge's foot, and it's very, very unfortunate in the first game, and that looks a bad and nasty injury.
So goalless as it stands, but it's been bright and lively. We've seen a bit of aggression so far as well, more at half-time though than on the actual field of play. This is the Royal Marines showing what they can do. A few self-defence techniques that we haven't been seen so far in the first 45 minutes here. Forest started with a goalless draw last season. They're hoping to kickstart their Championship campaign with some goals. The second half is coming up next. Robin Hood has decided to show how to deal with the Marines here. There is a school of thought that is Gary Birtles inside that costume. At the moment, we cannot confirm that. Roberto, we've got 45 minutes to go here between Forest and Reading, the opening day of their season. Would you expect at some stage Reading to up the tempo, given the quality they have in their side?
Well, they've got the experience and the quality in their side, and probably you look into the last 20 minutes if Nottingham Forest can carry on with that tempo, because in the first half they put all the effort, and probably it's harder for Nottingham Forest in the first 45 minutes. So it'll be very interesting to see how the last 20 minutes or half an hour pans out.
We saw so much of Stephen Hunt as an attacking force in the Premier League last year. Do you feel that he needs to join the attacks a little bit more, starting at left back today?
No, but at the moment, every time he's been on the ball, he's put a lot of quality in his play, and I think Reading, every time he's been involved, they enjoyed that quality. Obviously, being able to fulfill in a left back position is a great strength for any squad, and his experience is giving him a great help to try to deal with the situations he's played in the first 45 minutes.
Well, we'll see which way it goes. It took Reading, 7 months to get their first away win last season. Eventually managed 2 in the entire year. Forest, remember, great defensive record, 24 clean sheets last season, more than any other club. And at the moment. Paul Smith has got another one here today. Let's get back to our commentators for the second half then. Peter Beagrie and Phil Leslie.
Now, both these clubs started off last season with goalless draws. Forest here against Bournemouth and Reading up at Old Trafford against Manchester United. No goals in the first half, and defence is on top. There's that one cloud on this sunny afternoon from an injury perspective for Reading, the confirmation that it is ankle ligament damage for Marek Matejowski, and there's his replacement Khalifa Cisse, and he's been out for most of half-time, Peter, doing some stretches.
Yeah, that's right. Whether or not he didn't have time to get things sorted out before he went on and have a good stretch and that. But we saw the physio out with him, stretching his hamstring and everything, and passing some balls, so hopefully he hasn't picked up a little niggle.
No further changes to either side to report to you at half-time. Will there be a change in goal-scoring fortune? Certainly Reading, with the potential relegation hangover, will be happy not to have gone behind, but by the same token, Nottingham Forest on their return to this level against recently Premier League opposition will be pleased to have competed so well. Interesting contest in the first half, and nothing to suggest we won't have more of the same in the second. Stephen Hunt. Looking long for Lita. Morgan comes across to deal with it. Well, they have the confidence, Nottingham Forest, that excellent home record, particularly defensively, gave them last season. 13 league goals conceded in 23 league games. Hunt looks for the cross, might get another bite at it here. Too close to Smith, though. One of the other things, Peter, that may well please Colin Calderwood about the side's performance in the first half is the fact that it's easy to forget how many comings and goings they've had. 9 players out, 5 in. A few new signings involved here, and of course there are all those injuries as well.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, no, I think he'll have been ecstatic, Colin, when we see that everybody accepted responsibility, wanted to get on the ball. You know, they were all making angles, and that's great for a manager to see. You don't like shrinking violets out there. No places to hide, and they've settled very, very well. And as you rightly say, when you've had so many coming and goings, you know, to galvanise a team together in such a short space of time, and maybe play a different system as well than what you would normally do, speaks volumes for the way Forest have acquitted themselves, and particularly in that first half.
Problem with the match ball, so slight delay while that is changed.
I think it's misshapen where it's Sonko. He's a big guy, isn't he?
Rifled into him, remember, in the first half by Guy Mousset, and it forced Sonko to take a standing count, followed by dropping down to the ground. Well, as if they needed reminding about the importance of not switching off at all and keeping the concentration and momentum. Nottingham Forest, it was provided at St Andrews yesterday, wasn't it? That one half a chance that Kevin Phillips leapt on to give a win and give himself a debut goal on Birmingham City.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, Forest will be aware of the threat of Lita and Doyle, who've done it at the top level. They must keep the concentration levels.
McGugan, Earnshaw, offside.
So he must have been a tight one. He does play on the shoulder, does Rob Earnshaw. You just see it slip through there. You know, feet look level, but upper torso look to be in front, and I think that's why the linesmans give it.
Worth pointing out as well just how young this Nottingham Forest side are in comparison. The man with the ball in his hands is the oldest player out there. He's 28. Rob Earnshaw, 27. Other than that, they're all under 25. Teenager in there as well, with Lewis McGugan, the youngest out there. You wouldn't know, judging by the maturity of his performance.
He's never had a fear, as Colin. I mean, in his time at Northampton, getting people involved.
Perch.
Same old adage, you know, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Perch will be disappointed there because he's got a decent strike on him.
And I suppose as much for what he'll give on the pitch, Rob Earnshaw, and in particular Andy Cole, it's vital experience that he's able to bring to a young dressing room as well, which will have been a factor in his signing, even though he's ruled out today through injury.
That's right, and you know, it's an education for the likes of Joe Garner to play alongside Earnshaw and Cole and learn his trade. People like that in the dressing room.
Doyle looking for Lita, might just find Leroy Lita here.
It was a great idea, wasn't it? It was a beautifully weighted pass from Doyle to get it up and down to Lita. And if we have a look at Lita, timed his run to perfection, just pulled off the side, middle centre half playing him onside there, but defender gets across and kicks it off him. The linesman got it right, and the referee called it right. Last touch off Lita. But there's the threat. There's the threat for Reading with the pace and the link up between Doyle and Leroy Lita.
Never really recovered, Leroy Lita, from missing the start of last season. Picked up one of those freak injuries you hear of from time to time. Hip injury while getting out of bed. And that ruled him out of the first few weeks of the season and just struggled to make an impact on the first team. Hence the loans towards the end of the season anyway at Charlton to get some football. Bennett. Doyle contested well and wins the ball for Reading.
You see, just battling away there. Yeah, it was a definite foul. Doesn't get anything on the ball. Doyle does very well because he steps across the ball, makes sure that the contact's on his body first. Promising position.
A set-piece examination then for Nottingham Forest, and it comes by Harper. Smith has lofted it up towards Khalifa Cisse, helped on its way by Lewis McGugan. Hunt. Convey, the American. Bobby Convey with time to get a cross in, deflected into the arms of Smith.
Ironic cheers there because undoubtedly he should have caught the ball that came across from Harper. It was at a nice height for him. He flapped at it to a degree, lucky to get away with it.
Helped on by Harper, picked up by Perch. Chambers. Musi. Bennett holding a useful looking position wide on this left. That's where Colin Calderwood wants it played. And here he is now, Julian Bennett. McGugan. Davis looking to shake off the attentions of Sonko. McGugan. Nice idea. Earnshaw was poised and waiting.
Yeah, nearly but not quite, wasn't it? I thought Aaron Davis should have really put the cross in first there on his right foot, but as he plays it there, Reading keep a great line. But on this right-hand side, I think it was Sonko playing everybody on, but just too far, too much purchase on the ball.
Musi. Bennett. McGugan. Earnshaw's movement causing Reading problems. Musi tried to help it on first time. Ingemarson clears and Reading think about turning defence into attack. Convey. Just overhit to Doyle. Cut out by Kelvin Wilson. And Doyle, in trying to keep hold of possession for Reading, caught plenty of the former Notts County defender.
It's a sore one, overstretching. Just catches him on the shin there. There's the lunge. There, knee on the shin there, sore one that for any defender. Revelation last year, Kelvin Wilson as well. We say, you know, about the defence and we say about the goalkeeper. He was terrific, and what he did as well, He was tremendous on the ball and wasn't afraid to come out and stride into midfield with the ball. And there's not a lot of people like that in the English game.
One of the band of local brothers. Kelvin Wilson, although, like I said, it started off for him at Notts County, a Nottingham Forest fan as a boy. Short spell at Preston before Colin Calderwood brought him here to help with the promotion effort. Concern because he's a key cog in Nottingham Forest's defensive machine. And Reading, of course, have already seen one of their players leave with an ankle injury, Marek Matojowski. That's the only change we've seen so far. Steve Coppell, having watched the first half from the vantage point of the director's box, now back on the dugout. Just having a word the Reading bench with the fourth official, Alan Wiley, over the length of this stoppage.
I see Ian Brecken limbering up as well. The old war horse would be a direct replacement. I've seen plenty in his time. Accomplished defender.
Ian Brecken, of course, who played against Reading for Wigan on the day that they were promoted to the Premier League for the first time.
Don't you ever go out, Bill?
No, never. Well, a comparative veteran, isn't he, as well, Ian Brecken, in the Nottingham Forest ranks. So he was delighted to see Andy Cole arrive because he's no longer the old man of the operation. He's 33, Andy Cole now 36.
A few lads have been through his CD collection, knocked the cobwebs off it, and that was some there from the archives, I'm sure.
McGugan. Helped in by Chambers. Sonko as far as Musi. Took a deflection, they'll get the corner here, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, he's had a couple of sighters and he lost no time pouncing onto that. It looked like he was going to go wide of the far post. That gets a deflection. Cisse coming down the line of the ball for his team.
Lewis McGugan with the corner. Bennett wasn't too far away from it. Hanneman has made a mess of it, but he was impeded. Perfectly positioned Stuart Atwell, the referee, to make that call.
Look at him there. It's his own man that impedes him. He's coming between the defender and Stephen Hunt, and he has to try and get round Stephen Hunt. Overprotected breed.
Musi. Nottingham Forest seem encouraged by their recent attacking adventures. Musi. Perch, just enough on it to work it to Chambers. We look for the angle to find Earnshaw. A little bit of a let-off, perhaps, for Marcus Hanneman. It's a good record, isn't it, against Nottingham Forest, and the way it's going will continue.
He's been a good servant, hasn't he? Reading, been solid there for them. Couldn't do much last year now.
Both these clubs, actually, with goalkeepers who are absolutely key to their operation and very, very rarely miss a match. Both ever presence last season, playing every minute.
I think what you see with both of them as well, very, very good communicators, organising from the back, they can see everything.
Convey just took on too much, the American Bobby Convey. Musi. Morgan. Well to Magugan. Now Earnshaw. This is an excellent move by Nottingham Forest. Magugan denied by a strong challenge from Khalifa Cisse. Still it's with the home side, and Musi. Bennett. Musi. Magugan. Earnshaw waits in the middle. Cut out by Rossignol. Corner kick, Nottingham Forest. Bennett looks for the angle. Hanneman thought about coming. Sonko takes care of business. Good little spell developing for Forest. Chambers. Morgan. Perch. Musi. Chambers looking for Lewis Magugan. Bravely in there, Perch, who took a nasty one for his troubles in a clash with Cisse. Both players down, and the referee quite rightly quick to summon help from the benches.
Yeah, I think Perch has got one in the ribs. Looks to be winded there. A genuine attempt by both players to go for the ball. If we see it here, both got eyes on the ball. There's Perch coming in, and it's the shoulder of Cisse that goes into the side of the ribs of Perch there. Oh, it's a sore one there. You can see him grasping his back as he goes down. But as you rightly said, Bill, a nice period of pressure there for Forest, passing the ball, being really, really patient. If we have a look at the graphic as well there, Notts Forest 70% to 30 of Reading. That's a reflection of it. Passed it nice and crisply, got it in the wide position. The only criticism I would say is they've got to get beyond the 18-yard box to put that ball in the box rather than cross from deep.
I was going to say, for all the possession they have had, Nottingham Forest, Reading, like Roberto Martinez was saying at half-time, have looked relatively comfortable. Perhaps the most uncomfortable they looked was when Hanneman spilt it and got helped out by the referee.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you get beyond that 18-yard box, what you're forcing defenders to do is face their own goal as they're heading the ball. It's meat and drink to the two big lads, centre-half, Inga Markson and Sonko, if it's coming straight down and they can face the ball.
He's already got that cast on that right ankle, Marek Matojowski, sitting alongside Stephen Hunt's younger brother, Noel Hunt. The only signing of the summer so far, anyway, for Reading. Magugan stands over it. Earnshaw stands over it. Big moment this, perhaps, for Nottingham Forest. Lewis Magugan, the 19-year-old from Long Eaton, with the responsibility. Ball does its job. Magugan keeps it alive. Terrific piece of defending that by Ivar Ingemarsen. Can Nottingham Forest pick up where they left off before the delay for treatment? They have done quite a good job of camping themselves in the opposition half. Hunt, here's Doyle. Wrestles his way away from Wes Morgan.
A little bit of respite for Reading. As Notts Forest stepped up the tempo there, just the game was going in a bit of a lull.
Hunt, brilliant work from Stephen Hunt. Leroy Lita, Harper, taken off his toes by Keeby, shot in by Cisse. Well, as it was taken away from Harper, was that the best moment of the move?
Absolutely, and he's left a flea in the ear of Cisse there. See the ball drifted in, does well at the knee post, Lee, to get across And you just see Cisse took it off his toe to lay it back where Harper was just going to swing that left foot of his. We said about him getting forward from midfield, supplement the attack. That was a perfect example, but unfortunately he wasn't allowed to get a shot off.
Doyle. Convey. Convey. Lita. Able to get away from Wilson. Won't give it up though, Kelvin Wilson.
Strong, resolute defending. Very, very good. Got his body across. He wrestled him out the way. We look at the graphic there. It's Nottingham Forest there with 7 shots and only 2 there from Reading. And we look at there, only 2 of them 7 have been on target from Nottingham Forest. So, you know, although there's been some good and patient build-up, the threat on the 2 goalkeepers hasn't been that apparent.
Maguga. Musi, closed down by Hunt. And then trying to get it back, Musi's given away the free kick. The first thing he's done wrong all afternoon. It's been an impressive English League bow from the big Frenchman. Reminder that we have live Carling Cup action for you this week on Sky Sports. Chester Leeds kicks it off Tuesday 7:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Wednesday night, keep it on the same channels for Wickham against Birmingham. Earnshaw, caught late by Hunt. I don't think it's going to be a yellow card, but just a talking to for Stephen Hunt.
Good referee, and the ball's broken that first tackle there, and yeah, I think he's more than anything tried to protect himself, thinking there was going to be more contact, but great by the referee. He said, that's 1 or 2 occasions I've warned you, no more, otherwise you'll be in the book.
Just a reminder that this is the 25-year-old referee Stuart Atwell, who will be a Premier League referee this season. Find out early next week what his first match will be.
We haven't noticed him, so I think that's a testimony to how well he's refereed.
And he's kept his cards in his pocket as well so far. Leroy Lita.
Fantastic, the old Wily Fox there. Wes Morgan, I think you have to take a detour to get round Wes Morgan. I've run round him a few times myself.
Never beat Wes Morgan, a cry from the Forest supporters. Very well represented here at the City Ground this afternoon. Talk of upwards of 13,000 season tickets sold, and still more being applied for. It's more than 2,000 than last season as they make the tentative steps back up the league. Decades since last promotion. 9 years since their last relegation from the top flight, and goodness me, has some painful water gone under the bridge. Over 20,000 for day 1 at the City Ground. And value for money, although no goals, not yet anyway. Here's Convey for Reading. Khalifa Cisse wants it cut back, Convey wants to go himself.
Well, high wide and not so handsome. It was like one of Dave Jones's drives off the tee. We were talking about the attendance there at Forest. They averaged nearly 20,000 last year, only second to Leeds. And always a handsome following here at the City Ground.
It's one thing Bobby Convey will be looking to put right as well. Well wide with that one, but hasn't scored since he last played in the Championship. Here's Earnshaw. Equally desperate after a difficult season at Derby County to restore normal goal-scoring service. Gugan couldn't work it in. "20 minutes left for Colin Calderwood's side to chalk up an invaluable day one victory. Or will it be more a question of holding on for a day one point? Giving away a corner here, Chambers.
It's getting to that stage, isn't it, where the managers get itchy, and do they keep the numbers, the cards in the holsters, or do they make a change? Shane Long could come on for Reading. Plenty of energy, a goal threat as well.
The captain will take this one for Reading, James Harper. Big boys are up from the back. Sonko too high for him. And a strong physical presence to try and contain him in Wes Morgan as well.
Yeah, great defending again. Just leaving him out of the way, not allowing him to get a jump. Standing up against him. And the two centre-halves have been absolutely outstanding for Nottingham Forest. Against, genuine goal threats in Leiter and Doyle.
And particularly Doyle, who was playing regularly in the Premier League last season, although he didn't do quite as well as he did on his debut season in the Premier League in terms of goals. It tells you everything you need to know about how well Forest's League One defence has contained them. Doyle. Free kick for Reading. Unlike Rob Earnshaw, you feel Kevin Doyle will be looking to get back to what he does best at Championship level as well. Only outscored by Marlon King in that promotion season.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Rob Earnshaw down there against the two giants, and I'm sure Colin Calderwood would have loved for him to have a foil up there, injury permitting.
Doyle. Hunt. Convey. Stephen Hunt. Now, to lose one striker, unfortunate, but to have Rob Earnshaw as the only available one. Injuries to Andy Cole and Joe Garner, who won't be available for a couple of months yet. Mind you, they knew that when they signed him, that he was recovering. Joe Garner, one for the future for them, and Nathan Tyson, the latest in a long list of injuries he's picked up since he's been at the City Ground.
Well, it certainly makes it easier for your opposition if they know that you're going to try and come through the middle, because they invite you to knock it out wide, because the quality of the cross has got to be perfect.
That's just what they're able to do here. Just over the head of Earnshaw, touched away by Sonko. Here's Kebe now, beyond Bennett. Good run from the man from Mali. As he hung on too long. There's the answer. Bennett has it back for Nottingham Forest after Perch's challenge. He's out of the way off the ball, Davis. He'd seen it, though, the referee. Looking to play advantage. McGugan. Rosinha. Nothing half-hearted about the way that man approaches the game, is there? Lita. Lucy. Bennett. Found a little bit of space here, Chris Cohen. He's done well as well. Caught in two minds there, Ivar Ingemarson, and the Nottingham Forest fans in the Trent end feeling that it might have come off a hand. On by Morgan, or no-nonsense defending by Wes Morgan. They need to get back though, because here comes Doyle, off goes Lita, was played in behind, looking for a run that they hoped would come from Kebe.
Yeah, he had options. There was a terrific cross earlier on in Ingemarson. If we look at it there, he's misjudged the ball. It's definitely caught the arm, definitely caught the arm. The ball was dipping, it was a wicked ball coming in. He's thought he was going to head it clear, it's dipped, and he's bent down towards it, and it's definitely hit his right arm. Reading lucky to get away with that one.
Earnshaw. He'll have help out wide from Bennett. Musi. Perch. This is Luke Chambers. Coming in, Bennett was the closest to it, but Reading in defending it, got a touch away for a corner.
Well, that was the left back on the far post, and that was a direct consequence of patient play, allowing him to get in that final third and get on that far post.
Inside the last quarter of an hour. No goals, but Forest in the hunt for them. McGugan with the corner, and he didn't know anything about that, Ibrahima Sonko.
No, he's turned away. I think it's hit him on the back of the head. That would have been some own goal, that. There, he thinks Lita's going to win it. Lita rises, pulls his head out the way, just can't get there, and rebound off Sonko. His head's been a target today, certainly.
He got away with that one. Bennett attacked it. A slip from Convey. Collected by Musi. Here's Julian Bennett. Musi makes the run. Oh, beautifully worked back for Aaron Davis. Had three men closing him in there, Musi, and still found a way out of it. Here he is again. Bennett. They're enjoying themselves at the moment, Nottingham Forest. Bennett's cross over the head of Hanneman, and behind by Ibrahima Sonko.
Better cross, great defending. Bennett, half a yard, whips a ball in, eliminates the keeper. Just take it off the head of Morgan, who stayed up.
Now just a burst of adrenaline, and with it, so goes the momentum. And it was a very good spell, as good really as they've had consistently in the match, Nottingham Forest then. Went through the back there, Kelvin Wilson.
Yeah, it's good refereeing again, that. When you look at it, he's come from the side, he hasn't come from behind. He's tried to genuinely go for the ball, he's gone to the side of him, and only because the lad steps across, I think it's Cisse, is there any contact. So great refereeing again, just a quiet word to warn him.
Well, there's a little bit of wind around the City ground, but not quite that much. Interesting to hear the thoughts of the Reading fans, or some of them at the top of the programme, saying how it's much more fun being promoted than hanging on by your fingernails and just staying up. They certainly enjoyed themselves in their last championship season. Will it be as straightforward on their return, even though they do have so many of the familiar faces from 3 years ago? And they set the standards and raise the bar. Musi. Earnshaw. Musi. Bennett. Good looking ball in from Bennett, away by Ingemarson. Musi. Still able to get there, Guy Moussi. Davis. Tell you what, he will be the toast of the tread, that man, Guy Moussi.
Yeah. Talking about getting acclimatised to this division and this country, he's done phenomenally well.
Leroy Lita, Kebe. Well, for all that has been good about Nottingham Forest, and there has been plenty this afternoon, just over 10 minutes to go. You wouldn't rule out Reading.
You can't.
Doing a smash and grab job.
You look at the game yesterday, it just prepares you for anything, doesn't it?
Leroy Lita. Stephen Hunt. Doyle! Oh, what a tremendous save!
What an
astonishing from Smith.
Fantastic save. That is a world-class save.
Kebe. Rosignol. Another good cross from a fullback. This time dealt with by Morgan. 99 times out of 100, Doyle scores there, and Reading lead with 10 minutes to go. Sonko. This is the centre half, Ibrahima Sonko. Lewis McGugan felt he got the ball, he throws it to the ground. Well, he's got no choice here, unfortunately, the referee, than to book Lewis McGugan, you wouldn't think.
Well, no, but he can count himself unfortunate, because he definitely gets the ball. Yeah, he leaves the ground, but he dives alongside and wraps his left foot around the ball. If we have a look here, there he is, total ball, totally, he's won the ball. Sonko goes over his legs, but it's reaction, there's no need to do that. You know, the referees give it, he's not going to change his mind. Yellow card, and silly one to pick up, because he's been absolutely brilliant today, youngster.
The impetuousness of youth, the 19-year-old becomes the first name taken. And Reading, who barely had an effort on target, came so close to taking the lead. Now they have this free kick. Comby. Rosignol. On by Cohen. Hunt. Hits the front early and very nearly hits Leroy Lita.
Well, we had an absolutely terrific ball whipped in there by Hunt. Fantastic header by Doyle. Look at that save, it's behind him. Unbelievable save. It's right in the corner, it's behind him. He's tipped it onto the bar. Fantastic. Is it any wonder that he kept 25 clean sheets all comps last year? That's the reason why. Brilliant instinct save.
Time for a change, and perhaps some sensible managerial work from Colin Calderwood. He's seen that Lewis McGugan, the young man, has taken leave of his senses temporarily. He wouldn't want to spoil what has been a very good afternoon, so he's withdrawn to a wonderful and well-deserved ovation. And on comes another youngster, Emile Sinclair. On by Chambers. Earnshaw. The substitute, Sinclair. Chambers, Perch, Moussi. Little bit of space, quickly closed down by Lita. And Gamarson and Hunt combine to clear. Here's Emile Sinclair. You could think of it as well as something of an attacking move, certainly a positive one from Colin Calderwood. He's much more of an offensive player, more a striker, Emile Sinclair, than Lewis McGugan.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to play down that right-hand side, and he swapped over with Cohen. And we'll see Davis now playing sort of in front and to try and get in and around Earnshaw.
Perch. Hunt's touch. Intercepted by James Perch. And released to Emile Sinclair. Still full of energy and endeavour, Nottingham Forest, and they get their rewards. They have the ball back. Perch. Dip of the shoulder by Davis. Down he goes. Was Ingemarson leaning on him?
Just a bit lightweight there. Slid along the side of him and just buffeted his run a touch. Not enough for pen. We look at it here. Yeah, not enough of a contact. Both arms together there. Good decision by the referee. I think Steve Copley will be absolutely furious with Stephen Hunt, though. We're just about to wax lyric about him and say that how well he's done in that unfamiliar position. And he's tried to nutmeg somebody, you know, in his own last third.
We talked about the positive aspects of having a midfielder at fullback. Maybe that's the negative side of it.
You're dead right.
Harper's corner. It's hanging. Nothing Sonko could do with that.
If we have a look at how good the save was of Smith at normal speed, this is how you can see about the reactions. Look at that. It's past him. It's fantastic. An outstanding save this is, because Doyle gets a great purchase on it, redirects the power and the pace of the cross from Hunt, and I can't tell you how good that save is.
Turned around the corner by Emile Sinclair. Chambers. Bennett. Musi. Davis. Musi. Earnshaw. Lovely pull by Rob Earnshaw, looking to pick out Emile Sinclair. He was offside. He caught everyone by surprise there, Earnshaw.
Yeah, he did, because everybody thought he was going to isolate the defender and go for a shot himself. He was chucked onto his right foot, and marginal. Good decision in the end by the linesman. It's only a matter of half a yard, but definitely off.
Lita. Good recovery by Morgan, but Lita. Now Harper. Earnshaw colliding with Cisse. Good advantage played, not capitalised upon by Perch. Leroy Lita just seemed to kick more of the ground than the ball as he looked for the cutback there. Otherwise, it could have been an even better chance for Reading than it was. Painful one here for Bennett. And the referee wants to have a word with Kebe as well.
A little comedy of errors, wasn't it? There's a book in there for Kebe. It's a little niggly one, just a niggly one, but I think the referee's had, yeah, he's just jumped for the man, jumped towards the man there, no attempt for the ball. We saw Wes Morgan for the first time just slip up, and then Leroy Lita did the save for him.
.90 seconds of the 90 minutes remain. Earnshaw looking for Cohen. 92 on the clock yesterday when Phillips pounced, wasn't it, at St Andrews?
Yeah, there's never a final whistle at 90 minutes anymore, is there? I think the average 94, 96.
Rosinha.
Colin Calderwood down there will be thinking to himself, don't spoil it now. You've been absolutely outstanding.
Convey. Away by Kelvin Wilson. Scuffed it to a teammate, fortunately for him.
I think he's earned that bit of luck, Bill, because he's been tremendous today. And it would totally change his team talk, I think. Because this is the time when you've got to dig in, you've got to concentrate. Fine line, margin between victory.
3 added minutes. Earnshaw, plenty of movement ahead of him. Rob Earnshaw wants to do it all himself. Earnshaw!
Oh! He just slipped at the final, just as he about to execute it. You have a look there, tremendous pace, and because of that, because he's a full tilt sprinting, he couldn't just settle himself there. And we see his standing foot just slip away from him.
It took him 20 league appearances and 8 months for his first goal for Derby County last season. After the hard work he put into the build-up, he'd hoped and prayed, as did all the 20,000 or so Nottingham Forest fans here at the City Ground this afternoon, that was the moment, the first part of the payback on the giant transfer fee.
Well, he's always been very highly rated because of his goal-scoring exploits and that explosive pace of his. I mean, I think he's went in total for about £12.5 million in 4 or so moves, so a good pedigree.
There'll always be a price on a player who scores goals, and always be a buyer. Another Nottingham Forest change. Aaron Davis replaced by Gareth McCleary. Young man plucked from non-league football in January of this year. And in the last minute of the added 3, Reading have this free kick to contemplate. Harper's delivery. Sonko closest to it.
Yeah, great interception there by Wes Morgan. Sonko was all over him. But look there, tugging each other, and just gets the final touch. Great defending. He's actually getting his shirt tugged there as well by Doyle from behind, so Wes Morgan did particularly well.
One final hurdle for Forest to clear. Hunt's corner kick. Behind it goes from Guy Moussi. The referee has a look at his watch. Blew at the end of the first half when Reading were waiting to take the corner. He's going to repeat it here. Looks like he's going to let them have one final bite at it in the 94th minute of the match. Hunt. Comby. And Nottingham Forest have earned themselves a fantastic point here on day one, in a confidence-building performance as well, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, based on a solid foundation, goalkeeper, and you know, your back four, tremendous. And I think in the midfield man, Moussi, I think he's run the show. We talked about Harper, but it's Moussi who's
no goals at the City Ground, but chock full of entertainment and encouragement. Nottingham Forest 0, Reading 0.
Yeah, good opening day point for Colin Calderwood. Delight, I guess, for his debutant Guy Moussi as well. They've unearthed a gem there. Frustration for Kevin Doyle and his Reading teammates, shut out as 24 sides were in League One last season by the best defence in League One. Another clean sheet for Nottingham Forest on this, their opening day back in the Championship. Carling Cup returns this week on Sky Sports on Tuesday with Chester up against Leeds United. 7:30 Sky Sports 2 and HD2, and on Wednesday Wickham face Birmingham from 7 Sky Sports 2 and HD2. And our next championship offering comes from Ashton Gate, with Bristol City, last year's beaten playoff finalists, taking on relegated Derby, desperate for a win. 5:15 Sky Sports 1 and HD1. The Swansea City manager Roberto Martinez predicted a goalless draw. That's exactly what we got here this afternoon at the City Ground. Swansea face Forest next week. We'll hear Roberto's thoughts next and get all the reaction from downstairs. Golden glove at the start of this game for Paul Smith, the Forest keeper. 24 clean sheets in League One last season, one already in the Championship. That gave his side a point. Let's hear from him with Greg Whelan.
Paul, was that a good first point for Nottingham Forest, or did you feel you did enough to earn all three in the end?
I think we're happy with a clean sheet. Obviously, first game of the season at home, to carry on the defensive record that we had last season, and I think we've got a good enough squad now to put a set of results together. And unfortunately, it wasn't 3 points today to give the fans at home a good win. But saying that, good clean sheet, I can't complain.
Well, that clean sheet is partly down to yourself. A terrific save 10 minutes from time. What do you remember of it, and how pleased were you with it?
Yeah, I was pleased. It was just a good cross from out wide and a header, and I was just lucky enough to get a fingertip onto it and turn around and just grazed off the bar, and the defender's there to clear it away. So from that point of view, I was happy.
Now, you're up against a side recently relegated from the Premiership. What will this performance do for your players' self-belief?
I think we've got good belief with ourselves in the dressing room right from the beginning of the season. The management have instilled that in us, and we know now that as a team and as a squad, we've got more than enough to hold our own in this division.
Thanks very much, Paul. Well, your teammate Guy Moussi is the Powerade man of the match. If you'd be so good as to pass on the award to him, he'd be very grateful. Well done today.
Thank you.
Well, the Swansea manager Roberto Martinez told us it would be a goalless draw. He also said that Paul Smith was an outstanding goalkeeper, and he showed that today, Roberto.
Yes, and I thought that save really was worth it for a point, but last season he was very consistent, probably a great performer during the campaign, and that's vital. You can work on that and gives you a great solid view at your side. And look at that. That's a world-class reaction. It's a great build-up play, leads to Stephen Hunt. Great quality in the delivery. Great header from Doyle, and that's a great reflex save. Just when you need the keeper to be there, Paul Smith always seems to be there.
Great individual moment from him. A great 90 minutes for debutant Guy Moussi. How much has he impressed you today?
Well, he dictates things from early on, and that shows you the personality he's got, and he's very comfortable on the ball. He's got a great brain for football, and makes his players around him, they make them play. But in your debut, to feel that free and to feel that yourself is a huge compliment to Moussi, and he well deserved the Man of the Match award.
And already a huge fans' favourite here at the City Ground. Tough tackling, shooting, all-action player, and they absolutely love him already.
It is important that the first game that you play in front of your fans, when you sign a new club, if you can find yourself and enjoy yourself, it makes a huge difference to the future.
Well, let's get some reaction now. Point for Reading on the opening day. Let's hear from Steve Coppell with Greg Whelan.
Well, Steve, you're looking for a response from your players to relegation. What do you think of the response you got today?
No, I wasn't looking for a response for relegation. I was looking forward to a foundation for this season, whatever it may bring. And I think today, quite often when you're waiting sort of 5.5, 6 weeks for a game, it can be a little bit of a damp squib in terms of a spectacle. But from my point of view, the players worked very hard for each other, and we had a couple of promising situations, one outstanding save from their goalkeeper. So all in all, we're okay with the situation.
You mentioned the outstanding save. Apart from that, are you concerned at all about perhaps a lack of clear-cut chances you created in the game today?
There wasn't many clear-cut chances at either end. As I say, I think we had some promising situations which will develop more as the season goes on. We were quite bright on the break, and coming here the first day of the season, you've obviously got to be fairly circumspect with the way you play, and we did that, and we stuck to our task.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Well, they lost 13 of their last 19 in the Premier League at the back end of last season, Roberto, so at least they've stopped the rot there.
Yeah, but they look in control, you know. It's very interesting to see what Steve Coppell is saying, but they look very mature out there, really strong, well organized, and they won't lose. They're not going to lose many games at this level, and you can see that they feel comfortable with any kind of pressure. They dealt really well, and they created the best chance of the game. So that tells you that in a way, away from home and in such a difficult place, they hold their own, and they're going to be one of the teams of the campaign. Let's hear from the Forest manager, Colin Calderwood, with Greg.
Well, Colin, overall, how do you feel you handled your first test in the Championship?
I think we've done okay. First half, a bit more positive than the second half. But I think that'll come with a little bit of match fitness that we'll get. Obviously limited by bringing on the subs and the other players in the team that we've got. You know, the attacking prowess is sitting in the stand at the minute. And that'll limit us a little bit in the first instance. But the method of playing was good. We competed pretty well throughout the game. Indebted to a fantastic save from Paul Smith, but at least he's earned his calling this week.
Another of your new signings, your central midfielder Guy Moussi was the man of the match at the end. What did you think of his overall contribution?
He's been very impressive pre-season. I think he's just demonstrated to everyone the type of player he is. A very, very composed, intelligent boy, speaks very little English, which probably helps him in the dialogue and training. But switches on, he knows the football, and he's football intelligent, physically good. And I think he's going to make a big impression in English football.
Colin, well done today.
Thanks.
So Forest go to Swansea next week. Have you got a big one to look after Guy Moussi?
Well, I think if you forget about the others, I think you got a huge quality out there. I think Colin Calderwood said it in the first half. They were quite impressive, and the best compliment you can say is that they didn't look out of this division at all. It seemed that they played in this division for many years, and yes, Moussi was impressive today, but you got a lot of talent around in the team.
Great to see you, Roberto. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We wish you well for the rest of the season, of course. Right, what we've got looking forward to this week, Carling Cup action, Chester Leeds, 7:30 on Tuesday night, Sky Sports 2 and HD2, Wycombe Birmingham 7 on Wednesday night. And then it's the Premier League returning on Saturday with Arsenal West Brom, 12:30 on Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Bristol City Derby, our next Championship action, 5:15, Sky Sports 1 and HD1 on Saturday, and the double-header from the Premier League. Chelsea Portsmouth at 1 and Manchester United Newcastle at 3:30, both on Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Test cricket right now on Sky Sports 1. These major golf as well on Sky Sports 2, and NASCAR from 7 on Sky Sports 3. And Forest and Reading are off the mark. We'll see you next time.
More sport, news and views.